get to the gas pedal for the car to react to it, I'm usually that far off it. So you can't take off before they light, because then you know what's going to happen. So it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. So for you, so do you have any drag racers that were inspirational to you when you started drag racing?
Can you repeat that, please?
Do you have any drag racers that inspired you when you started drag racing?
Yeah, kind of. My buddy Larry and I, we used to go to Byron all the time, and we even went as kids, just to play around. And we met some pros, and they're always helpful. A lot of information. Answer your questions all day long. Animal Jim, he lives in Effingham, Illinois. He had a 57 Mercury. And the first time I seen him, we were just walking into Byron, and he was taking off. And a 57 Mercury had front tires 3 foot off the ground. I said, dude, I got to do that. So it was just the experience itself of, of course I never did get, I could do that now if I had a car as light as his, but, it's just, my car gets the wheels off the ground. And you can feel it when it does, but it's not like it's, you could get a good wheelie picture out of it. It's kind of a hop, skip, and a jump deal, but probably Animal Jim was probably the guy that I really admired when I first started doing it. Because I just fiddled with it till I got drafted, and when I got out of the service, in 1969, and that's when I met Larry. And I guess he was into it already. And my brother and I built a 64 Nova to run modified production. And quite a few of the guys that I worked with at Fairbanks Morse Engine Division were drag racers. So, we used to all get together and, go here and go there. And, I was back late GD and had a drag strip. We used to go over there all the time. Union Grove, Byron, pretty much just those three, and Oswego. We'd go to Oswego a couple times, and a lot of those are gone. They are no more. Just like Joliet is probably going to end up being an Amazon center or something. Who knows? There's rumors of that, but I don't know. And that's the thing that DJ's fighting down the Byron. He would like to sell that track because he's got, I don't know how many businesses the man owns, but he would like to slow down and have more family time. But he's had offers for people to buy the track, but they were not going to maintain it as a drag strip, and he don't want it to go away. He'd like somebody to buy it and keep it as a drag strip, but so far no luck. He actually sponsors a Top Fuel funny car, and it's sponsored by Byron Dragway. Just trying to get the word out, but so far he still owns it. So, and I can understand it. That's a lot of work. And he's the type of guy that he's like an ant. He doesn't ever slow down, never stops. He just go. And I would imagine that's why he's in the condition he's in. He's done very well for himself. Very well.
Now, would you consider a guy like Arnie the Farmer inspirational to you too?
Oh yeah, mainly because what he's gone through physically.
Yeah, the
You know,
fire.
he got burned up real bad in a nitrous fire, and you know, he survived it, and he's overcome most of his physical problems. I mean, you know, he's got fingers that don't bend and stuff because there's no muscles in them or whatever. But you know, he's a great guy to talk to, very soft spoken. You know, I mean, I met Don Garlitz at Union Grove when I was a kid. They used to run some pretty heavy stuff at Union Grove years ago.
Yeah.
They did. They had and Byron. You know, Byron used to have a race every year. It was called Gas Coupe and Sedan, and that was pretty much the same thing as what all these gassers are today. And that was always that was a big draw. That was just because everybody back then ran a class. You know, I mean, we run modified production. Guys run modified production and stock and super stock, and you know, it was just unbelievable the classes that used to be about. I had a '65 Chevelle that I run in the stock classes, but you know, there's always that guy out there that's got one little idea ahead of you. So, I mean, these days they just group them all into one thing, and you just go out and have fun. You know, you really didn't have to abide by, you know, you can't do anything to your heads, or, you know, it has to have this camshaft or stuff like that. It's, you know, build the baddest dog you can and go out there and see if anybody else has got a badder dog. But to me, you know, I've been, well, I bought my car in 1997 at a swap meet in Jefferson, Wisconsin. And it was just a driving 63 Ford. And I would imagine it probably took me 2 years to ever get it to a drag strip. So 1999 up until 2021 to get it to go 10 and a half seconds. You got to find that right combination. And I've actually had it when we were down to Byron. I was trying to be nice to all the guys that I was running that was slower to me, so I told them I'm going to pull 300 RPM out of my shift point. You know, short shifted us, slow it down. Well, it didn't. He just went faster. So, oh well, that's the way it is. So that's, you know, you just find that sweet spot. You know, I was just over revving the car all the time. Didn't need to. They quit making power somewhere along the curve. So you just have to find that spot. Of course, I never get anything dyno because, for one thing, it costs a lot of money. You know, it's hard enough to just keep one running without spending money on dynos. You know, you can go to the dyno shop and spend $500 to $1,000, and all they're going to do is give you a number. You can tune them doing that, but you know, in the real world, you know, you have to tune it with what your weather is today, and what the humidity is, and you know what the air quality is, and that. I don't know. I've watched some of the guys in the club. They have weather stations and stuff, and they do this and that. I don't. I've tried to pick up on it, but I can't. I guess because I don't have the interest in doing that. Like I say, I don't go to the racetrack to work on my car. I work on my car at home. I go to enjoy myself and have fun.
Yeah, you were mentioning how the Grove used to have some good shows back in the day. But my dad started taking me to Grove when I was about I'd say like 4 or 5 years old. So I used to get to see all them got Don Garlitz and the Snake and Mongoose and all them at the Grove.
Sure. You betcha. Yep, all the big names used to come there.
Yeah, Broadway Bob was one of the best promoters.
I don't think there was a better one. You know, Ron Leake was very good at. He was, you know, he started, from what I've heard, he's the one that started bracket racing. And, I mean, he used to put on some big money. He still does once a year. They do a big money bash. And, I think this year was, the purse for the whole thing was like $45,000 down to Byron. You know, that's for all the different, you got box and no box and all that stuff. You know, that's some pretty good money. You know, it's not, you don't have Discovery flipping a bill so you win $40,000 on one weekend's race. So, you know, it's a lot different than stuff like the Street Outlaws. It's, you know, it's nothing the same.
Yeah, my dad also used to take me to US 30 all the time, seeing all the big shows over there too.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And that was the nice thing about Route 66. You know, because they brought the big show close to us, and at first they did it twice a year. So, you know, and then the bigger guys got greedier, and you know, they just kind of pushed. Well, they took one race away from them, and you know, there's only like 2 or 3 people that own almost all the drag strips. You know, the NHRA runs that. So, you know, they want all the races. So, you know, people like Joliet, they just get pushed out of the scene, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Money rules the world.
So let me ask you this question, Dennis. How was your first time experience going down a drag strip when you were young? You remember?
Actually, yes. Well, all right, I didn't go down the drag strip. I had a 57 Ford with a 430 Lincoln in it. And we went over to Lake Geneva. And I got so nervous that I couldn't drive the car. I had to have somebody else drive the car for me. So my first experience for me at the drag strip was quite disappointing, to say the least. But, you know, after that, it's, because my buddy Tom, he drove it for, I think, 3 rounds of competition. And then after everything was over, you know, then I got a chance to take it down the track, and it was, you know, I could have swore I went 200 miles an hour. It's you know, just the noise and the feeling and all the vibrations and everything, and, you know, come back and had a time slip, and it ran like, I don't know, 78 miles an hour or something like that. It's really, you know, it was weird, but yeah, my first experience was kind of disappointing, because like I say, I was so nervous. I thought I was going to get sick. It was terrible. So I had to have somebody else drive the car for me that day. But and of course, the best part then was, you know, just hooked up the mufflers and drove it back home. Which you know, which I can't do with this car. It's not. I don't know. I don't have a big enough fuel tank to drive it back home from anywhere. We were down to Glory Days, and I didn't know that they had stopped. They used to let you go downtown to, I think it's Skips, the drive-in downtown, and I drove my car down there. Well, then I found out you aren't supposed to, so I drove it back to the track. Well, it's probably a 5-mile trip, round trip, and it took me probably a gallon and a half of gas to make that 5-mile trip.
Wow.
So driving it anywhere is not very economical. But I do it. It sounds really good going across the bridge on the river.
Now, for the car you're currently driving, does that car take a lot of preparation between racing for say 1 weekend to the next?
No, I change oil 3 times a year. Matter of fact, it's I think this is the 3rd year on a set of spark plugs that are in it. They're the first spark plugs I put it in last time I freshened the engine up. I change the transmission fluid every year. Probably every 3 years or so I change the rear end fluid. Really it really doesn't take much. It really doesn't. Buy a battery for it every 3 or 4 years, and then I could. Matter of fact, I've got a torque converter down to Midwest Converters right now. I've got 2 torque converters, so I'm having to change the other one so I can try something different to see if it's going to make a difference. But really I don't have to do anything. Well, yeah, I adjust the valves 2 or 3, 4 times a year, just depending on how many races or how many runs I put on it. Matter of fact, I got to do that before I put it in the trailer tomorrow. But you just do it. The more care you take of it, the longer it's going to last. You let the lash get too far out, and then it beats the lifters up, and it beats the push rods up, and it beats the rocker arms up. So, but other than that, there really isn't a lot of prep. It's, check the air pressure in it, put it in the trailer, and go. And I'm fortunate enough that I can't remember the last time I bought tires for the back of the car. There's several of the guys in our club that run, they usually change tires every year. Irregardless, they put new tires on it every year.
What kind of tires do you run on it?
Pardon?
What kind of tires do you run on your car?
They're Mickey Thompson 31 10.5 Ws. That's 10.5 W is the biggest tire we can run. The diameter, whatever you can get to fit under your car, but they have to be a 10.5 W. They can't be any wider than that. That's for our club rules. So, I get my tires for free, so I can abuse the living daylights out of them and not really worry about it. Matter of fact, when I go to Indiana, one of the guys from up in Wisconsin, he's bringing me another pair, so I've already got an extra pair in the attic, so probably what I'll do is take his pair, and the ones that are in the attic, I'll probably sell those, and try to keep the freshest ones I can. And I quit running inner tubes in them. That seems to have made a difference on my 60 foot. I don't know why, but I run them tubeless. Seems to be working pretty good.
Do you have any Go ahead, Dennis.
Right, I do somewhere in 1.475 to 1.81 60 foot, which for my car is really good. It's good for my car. As long as it doesn't stray too far from there, I don't mess with it.
Now, do you have any sponsorship at all, Dennis?
Any what?
Sponsorship.
No. Just my wife, because she writes the checks for everything.
Yeah.
But no, I have no sponsors. I have some stuff on my car that that would make you think that, but no, I don't. It's, like most of the guys, it's just, supposedly your hobby. So, you foot the bill for everything out of your own pocket. And the biggest problem is I wouldn't know how to go about trying to find one. And once you do that, then you have more responsibilities of, I don't know. If I just leave it the way it is, I can do anything I want to. I'm not beholden to anybody. I just, I race when I want to. I don't race when I don't want to. I don't have to worry about somebody telling me that I need to do this or do that. And, I don't know. But it would be nice to have help. But because especially now, fuel's getting more expensive, and I'll probably go through. I would imagine probably 2.5 tanks of fuel in the truck to go to Muncie and back, plus what I burn in the car. But I buy fuel for the car in a 55-gallon drum, and then I just carry with me what I think I'm going to need for the weekend. So, but still, that's $475 for a drum. But I don't do anything else. We don't vacation. We take weekend vacations, but we don't take off and go anywhere. I don't have any other vices. This is the only thing I do, so it's not that it's all that bad. I can't leave my kids too much money. But it's just like I say, a little help would be nice, but I just wouldn't want to be tied to it.
All right.
This way nobody expects anything out of me. Just me.
All right. So now, Dennis, what are some of your favorite tracks to race on?
Well, two of my favorite tracks are obviously Osborne and Central Illinois down in Havana. I really, really like Norwalk. Norwalk is one of the coolest places. Very clean, very well kept. They run a tight program, and you can buy a pound of ice cream for $1. And you can't beat that. They have a very, very nice shower house. They have a lot of food vendors. It's really a premier place. And Joliet was a very nice place, too. I didn't mind going there. The only problem with Joliet, and I don't know why in the era when they built it that they didn't put any showers in. But they just didn't have any. Indy was fun. That's kind of, that's nice to run at just because of the history of the track. You're going to race in some place where the pros run. The Indy Nationals. That's every car guy's dream to go to the Nationals in Indianapolis. And, it's like the Daytona 500. All the stock car boys think that's their holy grail race, and everybody, all the drag races, they want to go to Indy, so, and I can say I raced there, so. Bowling Green is a very nice place. Really, all of them are. Osborne's a little bit, I don't know, what do you want to say? Kind of rough. A guy owns it, and he spends all his time working on it. It's owned by one guy, and he works on it every day. He takes care of everything, and he actually has a Nostalgia Pro Stocker, so, lucky him, whenever he's working on his car, he wants to make a pass, he just goes out in his backyard and makes a pass, but he's working on it, just like Union Grove, man, they're putting money into it. They completely redid the second turnoff road. It's down at the end of the track, and I'm under the belief that at the end of the race season that they're going to do the whole asphalt part of the track.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. So, they have good showers, and then they do the what the heck's his name, Johnny Lightning or whatever. It has all the food trucks.
Johnny Midnight.
When there's a big race, yeah, Johnny Midnight. There you go. When they have a big race there and all those things are open, if you go hungry, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
And this stuff out of their concession stand isn't that bad. They're making it a better track. They really are, and that's what you like to see is see them trying to improve the place to draw more spectators, especially, and more racers. What the heck is that race that they do that's all the no prep stuff? They got a name for it. But
Anarchy.
anyway, the second one, go ahead, Armageddon or something like that?
Anarchy.
See, the second one got canceled this year. So there's a lot of people that are upset about that because they have a lot of problems with too many people up around the starting line. And it's a big insurance deal. And for them to have insurance for those people to be there for that weekend costs them as much for that weekend as it does just about for the rest of the year. So they were going to sell tickets. You had to buy a ticket to be on the starting line, where all the people hang around. But it makes it rough for the people sitting in the stands because they can't see. The cars all over the place, and you just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good situation myself, but it's not my problem.
Right.
Not my problem.
Yep.
Me personally, I wouldn't want to stand up there. Not when, not the way them people do. We have guys that, like in our club, that they'll come up there and do the, get you in the water bottle and all that stuff. But then once you're ready to go, then they're all behind the car. They don't stand up. And, if something blows up, hey, man, you can get killed. That's lethal stuff coming out of those cars. I know it doesn't happen very often, but it only takes one. Especially the blower cars. Blower cars are inherently, they knock the blower right off them. You see it all the time. And there's a couple of them in the Chicago Wise guys that are, they're 5-second cars.
Yep.
And that's hustling. So, but I don't know. I don't know. I think, don't they just run 8 Mile these days? I never get to watch them because we're always down in the pits.
No, what?
No,
Wise guys, they're doing quarter mile.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was watching one on YouTube the other day, that ugly 57 Plymouth. I think he ran a 6:01. That's not too shabby. It's actually quite a good run.
Yep. So now, do you think you've reached any milestones in your racing career?
Yeah. It's, every time I go is a milestone. So I've reached a lot of them. I really don't set any expectations for myself. just try to make as many as I can, and I'm gracious enough my wife is gracious enough to let me go this weekend, even though it's her birthday, so I really don't set any expectations, just, try to make as many of them as I can and enjoy it while I'm there.
Now, where do you get your fire safety equipment from, Dennis?
I get all my safety equipment from a place out here in Roscoe. It's called Left-Hander Chassis. They're actually a stock car place, but a race part is a race part, right?
Yeah.
So I go out there. I get my jackets and pants and belts, and, my neck. I don't even know what you call it now. Collar, my collar for your neck. I get that out there. I don't need a whole lot because my car isn't fast enough to require it. Although I do know that this is the last year for my helmet, I have to buy a new one of those next year. That's mandated by SFI. Their dates are only good for so long. Like most stuff, your seat belts are only good for 2 years, which is fooey, but what are you going to do? You either change them or you don't race.
Yep.
Because any good tech guy is going to look at them when you go, so. But we're fortunate enough that, most of the people you run into, probably the most technical we've ever been was Joliet. Because Ted Peters from Nostalgia Pro Stocks, he would always tech our cars, and he's pretty efficient about it. He's very efficient about it, actually. So.
Yeah, I did an interview with Ted Peters.
Yeah, great guy. Great guy. Yep. Yeah, I got to talk to him at. Where the heck was that? I don't know. I don't even remember now. It's been so long. Of course, don't take long. I don't remember yesterday. One of the nice things about getting old. And the older you get, the less you give a darn if you remember it anymore, I guess.
Now, during all these years of racing, Dennis, have you had any accidents or close calls?
Yes, I've had close calls. The first race I ever raced with the Nostalgia Superstock guys, I was racing a fellow, and we were, he was ahead of me, probably maybe a car length, and I saw his car move, out of the corner of my eye, and I knew it wasn't right. It wasn't going straight, so I got out of the gas, and he went over and he hit the right side wall. He was in the right lane. He hit the wall, and he comes straight across the track, right across my nose, and hit first into the wall. And of course, I had the brakes right dead to the floor, and oh man, what the heck? So I jumped out, went up there, and shut his electricity off. That's usually the first thing you want to do in case, it shuts off the fuel pump and everything. Stops the threat of a fire. And then, like 3 years ago, the last year we raced at Route 66, I was racing Howard, and we were probably at the 1,000-foot mark, and my car blew the bottom radiator hose off. And it turned absolutely sideways. So probably going 110 miles an hour. And I'm looking out the windshield, and all I can see is the Ferris motors, which is on the side of his car, and Howard's eyes. They were about the size of baseballs. And I don't remember straightened out. I didn't hit nothing. I mean, the next thing I remember, I'm kind of chugging along the wall trying to get off the track, and then, I just shut it off because steam was coming out from underneath the hood. But those are really the only two instances I've had.
Yeah, last Saturday for the Mopar event, one of the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock guys had a bad fuel line fire in his car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did the run.
Yeah,
he got towards the end, the fire started, and he inhaled a lot of smoke. Though they had to run him to the hospital, got some burns on him.
Yep. Yeah, that's my biggest fear is fire. If you get banged up, sure, it may take a long time to heal, but you get burned, and I don't think you ever heal from that. Just from the mental part of it, because what you go through when it happens, especially if it's severe, because I have PTSD anyway, and I'm on meds for it, so, and it's all related to my time in the Army. So, I don't know if I would be better off or less better off because I take meds and it kind of somewhat controls my mind. But still, that would be a tough thing to come back from is a fire. I would really, really, really hope that never happened to anybody, especially me. Yeah. But that's my biggest fear.
Well, knock on wood,
crashing.
Knock on wood, you won't have any fires.
Yep. Crashing. Yeah, you might get beat up. And you may break a few bones or whatever. But most of the time, we had a guy that I think it was at Glory Days 2 years ago. Actually rolled his car over. But, he was, because when you bounce around, because you got all your belts tight, and you're pulling on your shoulders and stuff pretty hard when things are going bad. So he was sore, but, he walked out. He walked away, and, a few ice packs, and not too awful long, he's up and at him again, so. Matter of fact, my friend Larry, his boy hit Memorial Day up to Union Grove. His boy hit the wall with his car, and it banged him up pretty good. And but a couple weeks later, the bruises are all gone, and the only thing that's left is the heartache.
Well, Dennis, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview tonight.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and thanks for having me. I hope it was worth your while.
No, it was great. We got a lot of information from you, a lot of info.
All right, well,
so
I guess that's why you called me, right?
Do you have any final words or thank yous you want to do before we close?
Come and see us. NostalgiaSuperstock.com is our website. It's got our schedule. If we're anywhere near you, come on out and watch. Come talk to us. Introduce yourselves. There's no bad apples here. Just enjoy yourself, and even if you don't want to come talk to us, come watch us. We put on a good show. We really do. And I appreciate everybody that does come.
Then if you're near Muncie, Indiana this weekend, go out there and watch the Night of Fire.
Absolutely. That's an awesome event. Yep. That's an awesome event. And if you like jet stuff, you will be impressed. You will be. And of course, then they have fireworks.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Dennis, and
All right. All right.
I look forward to meeting you up in at the Grove in September.
You bet. I'm looking forward myself. Thanks, Dave.
All right. You have a great night, Dennis.
Yep.
And good
Have a
luck.
good night yourself, sir.
Good luck.
Yep.
Good luck up there in Muncie this weekend.
Thank you. We'll give it our college try.
Hopefully, you get some great weather.
Yep. We're looking forward to that too. It's only supposed to be in the 80, so should be really good. Probably get down into that mid-70s, maybe even low 70s at night, and they run good.
Yep, they love to intake some cool weather.
Yep.
The cool air.
Like to breathe that cool weather.
Yep. Well, Dennis, thanks again.
You're welcome, sir, and look forward to meeting you. Take care. God bless.
You too. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye bye.
Yep. Good night.